Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Q&A of the week. We got two very interesting questions, very, very relevant questions, I think, right now of stuff that keeps coming up. So I'm very glad that we'll get a chance to address it. So the first question is, I feel a lot of pressure on me to do what's right and have felt it since the beginning of the pandemic. Why is it all on me? What can I do? This is very interesting, and I mean, since the very beginning, even of our our first module, we have been talking so much about the pandemic, reemergence anxiety, and when there's other lockdowns, I mean, everyone is in such pandemic burnout along with all the other burnout we're talking about. And we have heard our clients talk a lot about the pressure that they feel in doing what's right to prevent the situation from getting worse, or to prevent the next variant, or to keep their loved ones safe, when they see that in the rest of the world, in some places, in the rest of the country, in some places, like, not everyone is on the same page about what's really, really safe. And some people feel like they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, just this week, we've had conversations like that with clients. So in terms of why is it all on me? We totally feel you. We totally feel you, because a lot of people feel that way. Why, do we social distance more so that other people can be on top of each other at a party? It's crazy. And then the what can I do? So this, I'm just going to share my thoughts on that, and then Stephanie, I want to hear what you think, what you
Great,
think
yeah.
about this. There's so much stuff that we don't have control over in this situation. Number one thing, as we know, we don't have control over what's going to happen with what the virus will do. Will the virus mutate again? Will it get better? Who knows? And now people are talking about a fourth dose, for the booster. Hopefully, luckily, we just don't know what's going to happen. We don't have control over what other people do. We can't make people wear masks if they don't want to, apparently. So, I mean, there's just a lot, and just in general, we don't have control over anyone that's not us. So a lot of people feel lost because the situation feels so much bigger than we are. And artists, again, like the ability for, to perform, to do what needs to be done, to show their artwork, all of that depends on the ability to get out there safely, have contact with people. So I think the levels of helplessness here are many. In terms of the what can I do, I'm just going to share some of the stuff that we have shared with, clients recently. It's, what do you have control over? Even if it's little, there must be a little something that you have control over. For example, the little day-to-day things that you choose to do in response to what's happening. For example, how do you show up to the situation? You're feeling helpless, you're feeling angry, possibly, you're feeling isolated. Are you expressing your feelings authentically? Are you reaching out to someone who understands? Or if you don't want to reach out, are you honoring yourself when you feel like you just don't want to reach out? So basically, are you showing up authentically? Are you honoring your experience? Are you helping others in that way when you are in contact with them? Are you sharing kindness? Are you sharing, whatever it is that you think empowers the people that you love, the people that you know? Are you sharing hope? So it's true, there's not a lot that we can do, but there's a little bit that we can do in choosing how we show up, what we do with the mess that we are handed. Basically, that's sort of my thoughts are right now. What do you think, Stephanie?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with everything you said. What's the crux of the question again?
It's this idea of feeling like there's a lot of pressure on the person to do what's right.
Okay, so that he or she or they want to continue doing what's right, but there's a lot of pressure to do so.
It's a lot of pressure, because I'm assuming this person means that there's a lot of pressure. Why is it all on me? Because not everyone takes the situation seriously.
Okay.
Could.
Right. So, I mean, honestly, because that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Because yes, some people are taking responsibility for it and caring and trying to help those around them and be preventative, and some are not. And a lot of it has to do with whatever. I mean, we don't want to get political here, but whatever misinformation is out there and whatever it. So again, Eliza, it just comes back to, I think, the acceptance about the fact that you can't control other people, their reactions, and you have to come into acceptance with that. And then just recognize if there is a certain way that you want to do things and a certain way that you want to live, which is in a kind of preventative nature, wearing masks, whatever it is, protecting the people around you, whether you have kids or whatever it is, then yes, it is on you to do that, because you can't control how other people. And then knowing and preparing for environments that are not going to be taking the precautions that you're taking, and then making decisions based on that. Is there a party that you're invited to where nobody's wearing masks and you don't feel comfortable with it? Then making that choice for yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, really, I don't know what kind of advice this is, but I think at the baseline, it's accepting it, coming into acceptance that yes, you're right. A lot of the responsibility is falling on you, because these are your values. These are what you care about. These things are what you care about, and not everybody does. Or everybody has different opinions or values, and you're just not going to be able to control them. So yeah, that was not helpful at all as far as my advice. But yeah, I mean, it does come down to focusing more on what can you control. And it's not really answering the question then, but I think the answer is to somehow come into acceptance of that.
Yeah. And acceptance is always the key point to then figure out what you can do. Sometimes we resist so much of what's happening, rightly so, in big and little ways. And I see it even in myself. When I come from a place of resistance, I can't resource myself properly because I'm not looking at my situation for exactly what it is.
Exactly, right.
So yeah. So we're there with you.
We're there with you. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the second question that we have, very, very interesting. Why do I feel better when I am angry than when I try to be happy? This is such an interesting question. And we have worked so much with clients who describe similar feelings. I know a lot of trauma survivors describe this sometimes. I think it's interesting to approach it from a different viewpoint than how society would want us to see it. I think that in our society, we have this idea of angry, happy, sad, positive, negative, there's just all these. And so when someone feels like their sensations don't align with those categories or simplifications, then something is strange. They need to figure out why. I think personally, from the work that we have done with clients, that I have done with clients also, and the work I have done on myself, that there's a lot to be said about aligning with our truth. We have a certain truth that we carry in each moment, and sometimes aligning with that and finding serenity is to just be angry. If my truth in this moment is that I'm experiencing anger about something, I will feel better if I fully align with that. And if I take myself to the more positive place, the place I should be at. And sometimes it's interesting because really, really aligning with our truth naturally will shift us to a better feeling state. I think the forcing it is often, problematic. There's a step that's being skipped. And so sometimes people wonder, like, why do I feel so much better being sad or being angry or being resentful? Well, because there's an alignment of truth in that. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to remain stuck there.
Mhm.
But alignment is the first step into
Mhm.
honoring what's happening, really being there, and then seeing where the truth takes you, or can you guide yourself into a different place, not leaving the alignment of truth behind.
Mhm.
So I feel angry, but I want to be happy. The alignment could be, I feel angry, I have a reason to feel angry, and my anger is about validating that what happened to me wasn't right.
Mhm.
In that validation of myself, I suddenly feel that I start shifting to something that feels happy, because now that validation that came from anger now is becoming
Mhm.
self-confidence and self-honoring. So suddenly I'm in this different place where I'm taking my alignment of truth.
Mhm.
It went away from anger. Now it's happiness, or now it's peace or confidence.
Mhm.
It's like, but I think that if we don't take that alignment with us, that's where
Mhm.
the trouble lies. And that's something that we are not taught often, growing
Right.
up or in society. It's something that a lot of people don't know about trauma or about mental health issues in general. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
I this is the way that I would answer this question. And I'm curious to know, Stephanie, what you would say
I
about that.
absolutely 1,000% agree with everything you said. Really. I mean, you said it all. Um, if you feel better when you're angry, that means you are honoring whatever part of you has been violated, if it's boundaries, if it's values, if it's whatever it is. And it could be to you personally, or it could be to you at large. Like,
Mhm.
um, for example, I feel okay, I'm angry since the war started, right? I'm angry and I feel like people, this is what a client said the other day, actually. People going on vacation and posting all their vacation photos right now is making me angry because of what's going on in the Ukraine. Okay. That is a
Mhm.
direct quote from a client the other day. Um, so, and she was upset because, well, why does it feel more right and better for me to be angry about that right now than just be like loving and, oh, I'm so happy you're having a great time on vacation? And so it becomes about exploring, what are your values, what do you feel like is in alignment with, okay, well, what's going on is an atrocity, and maybe anger is the right and appropriate response right now,
Mhm.
so if you feel better when you feel angry, that just means you feel more embodied, and like you said, Eliza, more in aligned with your truth in the moment, rather than having to like pretend, that,
Mhm.
like, just be as you are, come as you are and express it. So again, we're taught in society that, anger is bad and you have to rise above or elevate. And
Mhm.
sometimes anger is the exact appropriate response. And there's nothing wrong with it. If anything, there's everything right with it. Anger can help you mobilize yourself. It can help you mobilize your actions and reactions to get to a better place. If all of this stuff happens to you, or to other people who you care about, and you don't get angry about it, you don't ever do anything about it.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, what if that's just okay for now? And yes, obviously you want to feel happy. So can it be a both and? Can it
Mhm.
be, I'm so angry about all this stuff, and I have, happiness or contentment, or not even if you would classify it as happiness, but just like embodiment. I'm so fully living in an embodied way right now. And that's what it is right now. Maybe I don't have to feel happy right now,
Yeah.
you know? That what something also that we're taught all the time is that we always have to be happy. And if you're always happy, then you're like successful at living or something. And that's just not true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, live it, live it, feel it, accept it. Maybe it's appropriate. And okay, that is what it is right now. You feel better when you're angry, and maybe that's because that's the appropriate response.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. And I was thinking when you were talking, like this idea that we have to be happy, it's like, but what is happy if it's not aligned with our truth?
Right, exactly.
Well, what is it? Is it this, role we're playing? Is it this, facade? What is it if we're not aligned with
Right,
our truth?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you all for your questions. And if you have follow-up questions, let us know and we're here for you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.